Welcome, welcome, welcome back to Truth Quest. My name is Aaron Moriarity. I will be your host, and we're going to go on a quest for truth together. Yes, we are, folks. We're going to do that, and we're going to do it right about now. I'm going to share this on out. I hope that you're all doing well today. It's Sunday night. And we always try to do at least one show on the weekend. So this is our show. We weren't on the air last night, so tonight is our night. So I'm sharing this on out so that our friends can know that we're live here. And let me get this music rolling here. No, we gotta do this first. Yeah, that's what we gotta do first. Very important. Okay, back to the music. Yeah. How's that? Is that good? Groovy, baby. Hey, Edward, how you doing? Hello, hello, hello. A little message there. Hello. How's everybody doing? We have one person watching, 2 likes. I'll be number 3. When you hit that like button, the number that you get, that's your lucky number, okay? Only one way to get a lucky number, to like the video and share, as I'm going to do as we speak. I thought I had already done this. Oh, there it is. We are live. ... You think they'll get the message? There we go. This is episode 72 in the Full Disclosure series here at the Truth Quest. And we're just very happy to be here, giving disclosure a voice and with regular call-ins. So you can call in with your experiences and get them on the record so we can crack this whole disclosure thing open. That's the idea. The more we talk and share stories, the more we can help, future generations. I don't know. Why is it doing that? Okay. Alrighty then. Hey, RadX, how you doing? Yes, it's 72. You know, I said, hey, this is episode 72. I bet you anything, RadX is going to be there. You can't sneak a 72 past this guy. Nope. No chance, Lance. That's right. I had a feeling. And you're the second person here. That's pretty interesting. Yeah. So, okay. All right. I have to go over here and do a little bit of this. I hope that you're all having a swell time. I wonder if you saw our last show, what you thought of that alien, if you looked that up, if you saw that spacecraft come near looked like a bar, restaurant, maybe in South America. And an alien tapped a man's head and kind of hypnotized him and gave him a message, I guess. It was a very odd video. It just kind of popped up several years ago, actually. Several years ago, but always has intrigued me There's a lot of cases that have always intrigued me. And if you take any time at all to look into this stuff, you'll find so much stuff. There's a lot. It's not just Roswell and Rendlesham. It's a lot more than that. It's like millions of stories. Unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And I'm always, amazed. Almost everyone I meet has some kind of story of something, very anomalous that's happened to them, or that they've seen or been witness to. I think, before the internet, when the narrative was clearly controlled by, the media, people just didn't really have much to grasp onto. Thank goodness for the intranet. What is this? I don't know what's going on here. All right, well, yeah. I don't know why that just happened. Okay, I'll have to mute that as soon as it starts. All right. I don't know what's going on here, folks. Something's up. Something is weird here. I'm telling you. Yeah. There we are. Back over here. Egg McMuffins created in 1972. Interesting. That reminds me. I've never been to a bed and breakfast, but I have had an Egg McMuffin in a sleeping bag. I think that qualifies. There's a lot of those bed and breakfasts around here. My guitar picked 4 strings at night back in 1983. No explanation. Maybe they were the strings were, or the strings of the guitar were over tightened and they loosened a little bit. You had like a loose, what do you call those little things? That was a big problem on the violin. I used to play violin. That used to happen a lot. Those things would slip. But it's probably because it was wood. I don't know. Okay, something strummed it. Interesting. Although, if you set a guitar somewhere, like especially an acoustic guitar, I think any guitar, and if there's some kind of sound vibration, the strings can pick it up. They can, I think they can maybe convey that, possibly. I can't think of any other, or a ghost is, maybe it's Jimi Hendrix as a ghost. Catherine Weiss, thank you so much for that very generous super chat. Wow. Thank you, Catherine Weiss, good friend of the program here. Thank you very, very much. That really helps a lot, and helps to keep the wolf away from the door. Egg McMuffins, created in 1972. Will the 1972 revelations ever end? That's what I'm asking. Probably not. Probably not. So, okay. Let me get around to this, friends. Thank you again, Catherine Weiss. That's awesome. Very, very cool. Very grateful. Thank you. Okay. All right, friends. You know, I was thinking about something today. And, you know, I'm a big fan of analogies. I like analogies. And yeah, analogies. So I was thinking about the way that things are in the world as it is today, and about, you know, the narrative that's being put on out there by the main or lame stream media. Um, and something struck me. And maybe this will resonate with you as well. I hope that it will. Something struck me today, luckily not too hard. You know, you look at the world today, and as it's presented to us by the media, I say it's not the land of information. It's the land of make believe. Yes. The land of make believe. Yes. There's Mr. Rogers and all the puppets, because you've got the narrative that they're spinning is all fake. It's all scripted, read by puppets, controlled by other people. Because let's face it, in the world today, in the narrative that the mainstream is pushing, they pretend they're different genders, right? They pretended that Trump was bad, that he did bad things. They pretend that Biden is good and doing good things. They pretend dead people can vote, and they cheat in order to make that true. And they're just pretending. It's the land of make believe. The person you see telling you something is merely a puppet. Somebody else has written that script. Okay? It's all a show. Mr. Rogers was a big clue. Didn't they remake this a little while ago with Tom Hanks? There's a big clue right there, too. So that's my revelation. The land of make believe. There we go. What do you think about that? Oh, somebody said it could have been from the future. Your guitar? That could be. Is it a used guitar? Maybe it's a previous owner. You know, hey, there's my old guitar. I'm not sure if ghosts can do that, though. A lot of the ghost stuff they say is psychosomatic, because the power of the mind, you can make things happen. Isn't that weird? That is bizarre. So what do you think about that, folks? It's the land of make believe, right? They pretend everything. Everything is pretend. They pretend that the withdrawal from Afghanistan was a success. Oh yeah, let's pretend some more. Let's pretend like law-abiding Americans are actually a threat to America, when all they want to do is protect America from communism. Yeah, take that magic little trolley into the land of make-believe, CNN, MSNBC. They'll tell you lots of stuff. It'll be entertaining. But if you look closely, the lips aren't moving. They're not quite in sync. There's another voice that doesn't quite sound like that puppet. It's not what that person would have written. Yeah, I think that's what's happening, folks. It's the land of make-believe. That's the left's version of reality. Everything is upside down. Let people out of prison because of COVID. Lock people out of their businesses because of COVID. Keep people from going to church because of COVID. But let people out of prison because of COVID. None of it makes any sense. I don't know. That's just me, though. So that's my big revelation about today is, you know, it's a bunch of pretending. Pretend. Like in Minneapolis, when there was a building burning behind this lamestream media reporter saying that it was mostly peaceful when there's a building burning right behind him. Now, I would say that a crowd burning buildings is not peaceful, okay? It doesn't fit my definition of peaceful, all right? What are you missing? Oh, I was just saying that it's the land of make-believe, this land that the media is portraying, or they're pushing out there. Everything's pretend for them. They're pretending that they're different genders. They're pretending that Trump was bad. They're pretending that Biden is good. They're pretending that Biden won the election. They're just pretending. That's all they do. Nothing's real. It's all pretend. Nothing makes any sense. Everything contradicts everything. So I had that sudden brain thing that said, hey, it's like the land of make-believe for Mr. Rogers. And they're all puppets. It's a good analogy. It's a good analogy for what's going on right now. It's ludicrousness on a scale that, you know, I think they're going for like the world's record for ludicrousness. I don't know. What do you think? I don't know. Yeah, it's pretty out there, I'm telling you. All righty then. So that, you know, there's nothing about their narrative that's real. Everything's fake, you know. You can come into the country, you don't have to get COVID test, but any company over 100, you need to get the vaccine. But people coming across the border, no problems for you people. You guys are future voters. We'll tell you how to vote. We just set up, tell you how to vote. We'll take care of the voting for you. This is what they're, in my opinion, this is exactly what they're doing. Yeah. So yeah, real UFOs. Real UFOs, yes. I don't know, man. Yeah, I did a Google search, real UFOs. Here, I'll do a little quick, it's not much. Oh, there we go. I'll do this one. It says more. All right. I'm just looking up images to see what's out there and see what people are putting out there. If there's anything new, it's good to keep up on all that. You know, been chasing this disclosure thing for a long time. Hey, Abby. Hey, Ams Dave. Everything is a lie, yeah. Yeah, they're all puppets. They're all puppets. And, you know, I even did a couple puppet shows with my Queppy puppet. Kind of like a Peppy puppet. How am I this evening, Abby? Thank you for asking. I'm doing Very well. I really enjoy spending time with you all here, and I really enjoy everyone here, and I love this. This is fun for me. I want to show you what this little search did. I don't know if you guys ever do this, but you know, from time to time, I'll just do a search, and I'll do a Google search and a DuckDuckGo search, because you know what? They're different, right? You get different results. And there's other search engines as well that you probably get different results. But I'm glad you're doing great too, Abby. That's awesome. Smiley face. Okay. All right. Does anybody in the chat have a UFO experience they would like to share? Perchance? Perhaps? Okay. There, we got it up now. All right. Okay, get rid of that. And now, yeah, I'll have to do that. And then this again. All these steps, folks. It's not easy being cheesy, let me tell you. But we try. Okay, so now here is just, a brief little, of course, the first one they put is the Tic Tac, the one that's so boring and so stupid and such a crumb. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm all done with that. Let's move on to the real stuff. Okay, this is like an Air Force attempt to make a circular craft using conventional, blades and whatnot. Okay, this I see now. This right here, I found a Mylar balloon that has this exact same shape. And I used to work at a Mylar balloon factory, so I know something about these things, and it looks just like that. So I don't, I think it might just be a balloon way up in the stratosphere, because the kids let those things go. They go up. Okay. I don't know if it would be fully inflated at that point. Maybe it's a craft, but why would it have the exact same shape? And when this thing came out a while back, I looked at it, that looks familiar. I went, wait a minute. It looks like a balloon. So I looked up, and I worked at Anagram Balloons in Minneapolis. They're one of the two majors, is CTI and Anagram. So I think that one's a balloon. This, I don't know. This looks CGI, or this looks, I don't know. It looks too perfect and too, I don't know, manufactured with these lines. This right here, oh man, this one over here, right under my picture. Ooh, that's definitely a real one. That's funny. That's funny. I like that. I wonder what's underneath that, if you can ride it like a bicycle or something. It's kind of cool. These lights over here, what are lights in the sky? You can do drones now. So lights in the sky like that, while they're interesting, there's no way to differentiate them from a bunch of people out flying their drones around. Okay. This one, this one looks interesting, but I don't know. Of course, the Tic Tac again. Now this one looks pretty interesting. Looks almost like a Billy Meyer ship. This one looks like a homemade one here. Of course, the Tic Tac again. There's that balloon. And this, it looks like a craft here and something above it like a ball, but almost looks photoshopped. I've never seen this picture before. I've seen this picture from the 60s. This, I think, is a real picture. Unless some guy's really good at throwing hubcaps. But I think this is a very good real one. Now, to that point, there was a point where I lived, where I had some access to a lot of hubcaps. And I threw hubcaps and I filmed them to see if they would look like a UFO. And they don't. They look just like hubcaps. So I don't think this is a hubcap. This is some special effect. So that's my analysis of all this stuff here. This is CGI. Don't even want to look at it. So there you go. That's my opinion on that kind of junk. All righty then. Oh my goodness, Rad X. Thank you for the super chat. Aaron, did you ever see the video I posted with the alien footprints on my floor? Yes, I did. And the marks on my way. Yeah. Or listen to the testimony from my ex-wife. I don't think I heard the testimony from your ex-wife. Yeah. I don't think I did, but thank you so much for the super chat. All right. It's just a nicer hubcap. Yeah. Yeah, but the other thing is you got just a brief second to get that picture. And if you're throwing it fast enough to get up there, it's blurring by the time you can't get a clear picture of it. And when you do get a clear picture, it looks just like a hubcap. It's like a Taurus hubcap. Yeah. Yeah, most pics are fake. There's some that are interesting. They stand out to me. But yeah, I think a lot of the people who just get into this and start looking, their heads must be just spinning. They don't know what to think. But you know, for us who've been following it for so many years, it's taking a trajectory. You know, it's always just over the horizon, never quite there. But I'm telling you, it already happened. Disclosure happened in books. It's right there for anyone to read, but most people don't want to read a book. So, yeah, I think that would be a great way to wake people up, just to get everyone to read all the disclosure books, like The Day After Roswell by Colonel Philip J. Corso. You know, yeah, and yeah. And any pictures that come out now are kind of suspect. I guess now they have a way of telling if a photo was Photoshopped. They have some kind of filter. I think Photoshop came up with it. And I saw a meme that showed a guy at NASA sweating. It's like, uh-oh, they're going to see all the things we covered up. That was pretty funny. Pretty funny. Indeed. Indeed. Okay. Let's see here. Let me see here. Okay. You know what, folks? I was going to say this right away. This is what happens. You have a plan, and then before you know it, you're on plan B. So I'm going to put this in the chat. It's my official Truth Quest tees, hoodies, and more merch shop. And I'm wearing one of the shirts from my merch shop, as I wear the stuff too. This is my Truth Quest shirt. And it's groovy, groovy, groovy like a record. It's nice and big. Look at that. It covers, you know, it works good at the green screen too. You can play invisibility games with it. And this is the long sleeve tee, and they run a little big, but the tees run a little small, the normal tee. So you know, I got an extra large in both. This one fits me. It's kind of loose, kind of feels nice. T-shirt's a little tight. Got to work out before I wear that one, right? Got to work out. Oh yeah, I sent away for the free muscle kit. free muscles when I was a kid. That was great. Yeah, we were gonna, you know, get muscle bound, right? But we did, you know, we did. We got oh, it's starting to disappear a little bit. I'm fading out of existence here. It was funny. We sent away in the back of a comic book or something. It said free muscles. So of course, you know, we're kids. We're like, oh yeah, we like free muscles. Cool. With that special logo. Yeah, I made his logo myself. You like that? That's it. It was the coolest Q I could find. I had to find a font with the coolest Q, and this was it, man. Of the, I think it's American Typewriter type font or something. It's so simple font, but it works good. And this is like, it's like a gold filter effect in my drawing program. It makes things look like gold. It's so cool. So yeah, that's, you can wear disclosure, and that's how we're going to wake these normies up. They're going to look out the window and say, wow, look at all those truth questers. What am I missing? You know, look at all those people walking down the street with their Truth Quest shirts on, hoodies. There you go. How you like that? Okay, that's special. Oh, you know, I want to put a little hey there, hello there out there for my friend Mike Murray, who called earlier, and I wasn't here to get his call. I'm sorry about that. Also, Max called, and I didn't get the phone in time. So sorry about that, Max. And I got a call from Becky today, and she was in the chat before. So very interesting. So she was going to maybe call in tonight. And why don't I put that information in? So if you want to call in via Zoom, that's the platform I'm using right now. Zoom. It's free to apply for it, to get a free account, so you can join chats or video chats. Looks like we got a good crowd. Cell phones suck at taking pics of UFOs. Yeah. Well, yeah. Oh, I wish my handy cam wouldn't have stopped when I saw the UFO I saw. That would have been awesome footage. That would have been. That also would have proven that I'm not crazy to a lot of people. Hey, Austin, there he is. Hans and Franz are here to pump you up. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we sent away for this free muscle kit, and we got this thing in the mail, and it was like $150. And we're like going, what? We had paper routes, but we didn't have that kind of money. So we're like, oh man. Then like a week later, we get another letter in the mail. Oh, now it's $72. Whoa. Wow, that's a big savings. Still kind of out of reach. A week later, we get another letter in the mail. Or 2 weeks later, whatever it was. Okay, now it's down to like, what is it, 25 or something? Well, it got down to 12, and we went, let's do it now. It was 150, now it's only 12. Let's get it. So we ordered it. And then like the day after we sent our money in, after we sent the money in to get it for like $12.95. So we wouldn't get it for a while because it was in the mail. The day after, or a couple days after, we get in the mail. Now it's only $7.50. Oh, we should have waited. We should have waited. it was going down even further. So that taught me at an early age, the longer you wait, the better the deal. Sometimes. So there were two ways to work out in this system. It was a very good system, actually. One was weight training. You train with weights, you know, like you put the weights on the barbell and, you know, you do this, and squats and whatever, all this stuff. The other was non-weight training. Hello, Mud Rabbit. Great to see you here. So weight training and non-weight training. So some of the exercises for the non-weight training were like reverse tricep push-ups. Like if I put my hands on the arms of this chair, if I put my legs out at like a 30 or 45 degree angle, and I just, you know, oops, this has wheels. That's not a good idea. That's a reverse tricep push-up, and it works your triceps. And you do elevated feet push-ups. So you put your feet up on a chair and you do push-ups like that. What it does, the non-weight training utilizes your own body weight with these different ways of exercising to build your muscles. And it worked. I mean, I got like, and it was good to do at that age too, because it builds your frame. So you got that frame, and you can always come right back to that. Jack LaLanne, no, it wasn't Jack LaLanne. It was something like that. Free muscles. It was some Mr. World or Mr. Atlas. I mean, it wasn't Charles Atlas. I can't remember what it was. It had like cartoon pictures. It was really cool. It was very well done. All the exercises were very well thought out, and they worked very, very well. Like I had my what do you call them? My forearms here. I had massive forearms because one of the things that we did was we took like a 5 or a 10 pound weight, and you tie a rope to it, to a piece of wood, and you wind it up until it goes all the way up, and then you wind it back down, and it just, it burns your forearms, and you get Popeye arms. You get these giant Popeye arms. So that's pretty cool. Charles Atlas, I don't know. Let me do a quick Google search on it. Free muscles. Oh, we're talking back in the 70s though, so I don't know. I put free muscles 1970s. That's the beauty about these search engines nowadays. You can put phrases in, right? Old school bodybuilding workout. Let me see. I'll notice the cartoon image. It had a certain cartoon style. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. No, it's not Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm seeing mostly Arnold Schwarzenegger stuff on here. Wait a minute. Oh, here it is. I think this is it. Oh. Is this it? No. But this is very similar. No, you know, this might be a precursor to it. Maybe this is what it was before it turned into what we got. I don't know. This is kind of like what it looks like. This is hilarious. But you know what? So this is from 1952. So I think it was probably a rework of some of the same kind of stuff, but I think this will give you an idea. I don't know. Wait. I think this is it. Oh, I think I found it. Oh my goodness. Okay. I think this is it, folks. I think, wow. Yeah, the intranet never ceases to amaze me what you can find on there. It's just, it's hard to believe that at our fingertips is all this information. I mean, we all have bat computers. Remember Batman used to be the only one that had a computer? Now we all have bat computers. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I'm just amazed every day. I would like to be more amazed. Don't get me wrong. Hey, Color Fab. Oh, Rat X. Interesting. That looks interesting. I'm trying to open this up for you, folks. I'm sure you're just dying to see it. It's pretty cheesy. It's not easy being cheesy. Somebody has to. You know, it's those little ads in the back of like comic books that said, you know, if you don't want to get sand kicked in your face, you better get this muscle kit, you know. Hey, Color Fab. Glad you're here, Kelly George. Awesome. We're all here. I'm glad that you're all here. Don't forget to like and share. It looks like everybody has liked it. Thank you so much. And is that gonna open up yet, folks? Where the heck is it? Oh, it's still thinking. Oh, my. I think I've overloaded the system here, folks. Steam might be coming out of the side of my Macintosh pretty soon here. Wow. Yeah, something's not working. Very strange indeed. Well, maybe I could go ahead and do this. Oops. I'll go ahead and do this. And this might work. Okay. Oh. Okay. And gonna minimize it a little bit. Now, I think this is it. It sure sort of looks like it. Oh, still going slow, man. Wow. This is really, there we go. Okay. There, now I can finally do it. Oh, I wish it was a better image, but, and I'm not even sure if it's the right one, but you'll get the idea. It's kind of like, I think this is like just from eBay. And so this is like, kind of like what it was like, free, you know, free booklet, free muscles. But it really wasn't free. And even now it's $9.95. See? If I would have waited till now, it would have been cheaper than the $12.50 too. So there you go. Longer you wait, the better. Comic print ad. Universal bodybuilding. That's what it is. Yes, universal bodybuilding. That is it. Yes, yes, yes. Love it, love it, love it. I guarantee. Yeah, yeah. I endorse it for sure. Yeah, you'll you'll be built. Okay, you'll have an amazing muscular frame. We were like really into it, man. We were eating the you know, the eggs and the shakes and everything else like that. All right. But the beauty about building up your muscles when you're younger is you build up the frame. And then if you don't exercise for a while, you know, your muscles will get smaller, but you got the frame is already there. So when you pump up, when you start to exercise again, they come right back. At least that's been the case for me. So, not exactly Mr. Universe, but definitely works. I don't advise eating raw egg shakes like we ate. We were kind of crazy. We didn't know. Yeah, that's what we did. We did a lot of that. So what do you think about that? Kind of crazy, huh? So that's what that is. I'm sure Radix probably got the same muscle building because he's pretty muscular. Oh, it is Charles Atlas, you think? Well, I think it's universal bodybuilding. This is what it is, universal bodybuilding. That was it. There was a couple different ones. And we sent away also, we got, maybe it was part of that. I don't know if it was part of that or a different offer from the back of a comic book. And we got these booklets on how to do karate and jujitsu and all these other like really, you know, not very well known martial arts. And we got all this stuff in the mail. And we were like going to garage sales and getting these knives because it was like showing knives. And our parents are like going, oh my God, oh my God. And they took those booklets away from us. They took them away. Because it, you know, it described in self-defense, you know, how to kill someone. So they were like going, no, you're not learning this, kids. So that they put the kibosh on that. For some reason, we also were kind of discouraged from buying these big knives at garage sales too, these hunting knives or whatever they were. Finder quit. Interesting. Oh, thanks, Mud Rabbit, for putting that in there. Let me see. I'll check and see if anyone's calling in. I have to, I'm bouncing back and forth from the chat to the thing. So here we go. So far, it's only me here. And my fabulous shirt. Look at that. And I want to thank the people who ordered these shirts recently. I got a new design that has Skinny Bob on it, and I want to get that one. It's like, oh man, I should have waited. But now I got this one and this other one. This one. This one right here. Meet the Greys. I like this one too. So it's like Meet the Beatles, but only it's Meet the Greys, right? What's the matter? Can't get it stretched out enough. There we go. Yeah, the first album from Andromeda's phenomenal pop combo. There they are. It's a new music sensation from the Andromeda galaxy. How do you like that? Star system or whatever it is. not a galaxy, right? Yeah, so there you go. There you have it. How do you like them apples? I want to show you something else too. This is a children's book that I am working on, and it's called The Awesome Possum. So working on getting that out in digital form, and we can order it as a real book too. So that'll be fun. Fun, fun, fun. So there you go. And there you have it. How do you like them apples? How much are the shirts? Oh, they're all different prices. They're all different prices. I think the t-shirts are like $19 and the kids' shirts are $17. I'll put, let me see. Oops, that's the wrong thing. Oh boy. Yeah, let's see here. I have to go and get that from here again. Okay. Copy and paste. Oh, Mud Rabbit did it for me. Look at that. Okay, I gotta put it there anyway since I got it. Look at that. See, you do it better. Mine's kind of has too much information on it. But as long as I got that up there, I know where it is. I might as well put the rest of this junk on there, huh? Copy. Oh, I like copy and pasting. You know, this is better than pasting in school because that paste never really worked very well. Did it? And nope. Okay, copy. Delete. And if you want to email me or mail me, here is all that information. Okay, I think that looks okay. Any Andrew news? No, he's still working diligently on all of his stuff. And we're, planning the comeback of the show. So at some point in the future, I'm not sure when. Thanks for asking, EM. But we're working behind the scenes. I think there's a gray one on there. Okay. Yeah, they're nice shirts too. They're nice quality. And this one here, you know what? I left it in the. I accidentally put it in the dryer, and it came out perfect. It's fine. I mean, I'm going to try not to put it in the dryer again, but I was like, oh no, I put it in the dryer. It's good quality stuff. I mean, look at that. It's big too. It's not like, if I would have made this myself, it would have been like, an 8.5 by 11. It would have looked like only this big, right? So it would be smaller. So this is bigger. It's much cooler. Cool as a moose, indeed. It certainly is, isn't it? Okay. I'm going to open up the chat in Zoom here. And a special little message for anyone who comes into the chat and see that special message in the Zoom. we're zooming. I like that. All righty then. I wear this stuff out everywhere, and you know, I try to bring it up as much as I can. I hand out my cards that have my, you know, my YouTube channel on it. I hand out cards to people when I meet them, so they can, you know, go on the intranet and look at the and sign up and subscribe. Easy way. You want to support the program? Just share it, like it, subscribe. That's all you got to do. Oh, you're drinking Pepsi instead of beer, huh? Okay. I stopped drinking beer, alcohol back in, well, a long time ago. Oh, Austin, you said you've not met the Greys, but you've had 3 UFO sightings. Okay, wow. I've only had 2 UFO sightings. Mud Rabbit, I advertise the Invisimask all the time. All right. Yes. See the Invisimask. Everyone's already got one. It's been teleported to everyone's face. It's a beautiful thing. Now they can have confidence and go out and just be themselves. I like Mud Rabbit. Thank you very much. You know, it helps people to believe in themselves is what the Invisimask does. It puts the power back into your hands. You need to keep a clear head tonight? Oh, yeah? Oh, you're not sure they can read the website on it, though. That's okay. You know, you know, I'm very grateful for everybody who is here. I've got Truth Quest has 2,269 or something like that subscribers. So I'm very grateful for each and every one of you. If you've not subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button, hit the bell. Then you'll be notified because I go on sometimes. We don't know when I'm going on, do we? Yeah, alcohol doesn't do me any good either. It just makes me, it makes me flush and makes me uncomfortable and sweaty. I don't like it. I think I'm allergic to it, to be honest with you. It feels like I'm allergic. I'm going to check the chat again. Oh my goodness, Rat X. Oh, this $20 is for the Meet the Greys t-shirt, a gift for Mud Rabbit. Please, this will be my last visit to the show, being its 72 episode. It's fitting. Everyone has to be kind to me here. and that awesome. Thanks, Aaron. Thank you very, very much. Wow. You're the man. So you want me to send her a t-shirt? Is that what you want me to do? Yeah, why is it your last time? He always says that. He's like Cher. You have to keep coming back, because how are you gonna get updated on your movie role in my movie? You You know, you're slated to be the bad guy if you want to be. Okay, I'll need a size and a color and everything. Mud Rabbit, why don't you go on the site and pick out something and let me know, okay? And even if it's more than what he's giving, I'll send it to you, okay? Yeah, we'd miss you, Radix. You're a colorful character. You always got something interesting to say. And I just had a feeling that our 72nd episode here was going to be, oh, I bet the rat is going to come and grace us with his presence. And Edward Taylor says, I wish Andrew could go back in time and get his sight back. Yeah, that'd be nice. But he would be himself now going back in time. You mean age regress? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, age regress. Mm-hmm. Let's see if this is back up and running yet. We gotta find something interesting here. Oh, I remember what I was going to talk about. This is something that was in the news today. It was very interesting. And that is the Japanese rocket scientist landed a probe on an asteroid. How do you like that? JAXA, not NASA, JAXA, the Japanese space agency. That's kind of a cool sound to it, JAXA. And it looks like the web page has frozen up. Isn't that lovely? Yes. So Mud Rabbit, I'm going to need to know your address, I guess. So let me know. You can email me, I guess. Oh boy, this is taking forever, folks. I don't think this is going to work. I have to do shadow puppets. Might have to do shadow puppets. Oh wait, it's coming on now. No, that's not it. That isn't it. It's always something, isn't it, folks? Did you all see what's been going on in the news lately? Something else, isn't it? Wow. It was nice seeing Donald J. Trump meeting with the New York Police Department and fire departments. That was very cool. And the other guy getting yelled at. Very interesting. Yeah, you can't pretend to be popular. I mean, he's pretending to be popular. Biden's pretending to be popular. It's this whole pretend thing again. He's pretending. They're all pretending that he got 81 million votes. He didn't. They're pretending. It's the land of make-believe, folks. Nothing's real. Everything's scripted and read by puppets. It's the land of make-believe. Yes, they snuck you into the trolley, the magic trolley, and took you off into the land of make-believe. And this is where we reside right now. If you are on the mainstream media. But if you're like me and you're unplugged from the mainstream media, I'm still kind of plugged into the intranet, but I'm not lurking on all the MSM pages. Why would I? I'm not interested in what they have to say. You know, I've lived my life without news. I don't need it anymore. There was a time in my life I watched news all the time, and I was a wreck. Okay, it's not good for your health. You know, it's just not. You know. Okay. Here it is. Well, it's not fixing itself. Oh, here we go. All right. Well, maybe we can do this after all, folks. I have to remove this from the dock here and then minimize it. Okay. And we'll see if this is going to work. Well, it would be very nice if it all of a sudden decided to work. Wouldn't that be lovely? That would be just grand. Okay, you have to get back here and screen share. Here it is. So the Japanese space agency, JAXA. Oh, this isn't it. This is the wrong one, folks. Oops. Wrong one. That was a Quite Frankly episode. How'd that happen? Here it is. No, that's, well, no wonder. That's not it, okay? What's going on here? Oh, lordy, lordy, look who's 40. Tell ya. Maybe I didn't get enough sleep. There it is, it says Japanese rocket right on it. Now I click on it, and what's it gonna be? Let's see if it works this time. Okay, something's up here. Hold on. I'm sorry, folks. I'm kind of discombobulated here. All right. Let me just scoot this up. See what we're dealing with here. So yeah, all right, there it is. Rocket scientists receives, stunning images from a probe on an asteroid. I don't know if you saw this. It's not really alien, but what it does do is it shows you that other countries are they're taking the lead because our country has been slacking. Now, President Trump did bring back the Space Force, but here you got Japan. Look at that rocket. They got a nice little rocket they got there. and they're going out to visit this asteroid. And they landed something on it. So it's very interesting. I don't know if you saw this or not, but it's not earth-shattering, but I don't think it's the first time someone's landed something on an asteroid. I think it's happened before. But there it is. There's the thing. Looks like it just slid it on there. You know. Kind of cool. Just looking for the images to show you. Talking about all the space stuff that had to go through to get there. It's a very interesting article. Anyway, there it is. I'll tell you what. I'll put a link into the old Chatteroonie if you want to check that out in more detail. But I thought I'd just bring that up. Is that going to fit? That's too big. It's too many. Oh. Maybe that'll go. I don't know if that's going to work or not. Give that a try. But yeah, that's that. So that's what that is. Now, I got to say, so far, of all the shirts that are available on the site, on my official merch site, is the Skinny Bob. I got to say, it's the Skinny Bob shirt. And let's see. Where's Skinny Bob? Is that Skinny Bob? I just think Skinny Bob is the coolest. There he is. Yeah. He's too cool for school, you know? The only real, true, verified alien, verified by Bernie Mendez. Good old Skinny Bob. And so now you can watch that footage on YouTube. It was released by the KGB, apparently, along with a few other little tidbits there, some craft and some other aliens walking, some color footage of some aliens walking. And that color footage of aliens walking, those aliens look surprisingly like that one I showed them in the last show down in South America somewhere. But Skinny Bob has more of a physique than that other guy. And he looks more real. He just looks like a physical being, you know, like a living being. And according to Bernie Mendez, he is. He's a living being. And he's a super nice guy. And he's the only extraterrestrial that can come and go as he pleases, you know? So there you go. There you have it. You can make the arrow get big if you move it around enough, like that. Kind of cool. Huh? So that's that. This is the one I'm going to get. Probably that shirt right there, too. It's a long sleeve t-shirt, I think. Yeah. Skinny Bob. A real alien. And he's a real nice guy. That's the guy they need to roll out when they do this big disclosure. They should bring him. In fact, I always tell when I talk about Skinny Bob, I want him to come on the show, okay? If he still exists, if he's still alive, Skinny Bob, come on to the Truth Quest. I know that you can figure it out. You're a very smart guy. We'd love to talk to you. And here's your chance to talk to the public, unfiltered. All right? Wouldn't that be fun, folks, to have Skinny Bob on? Hey, Ralph. Yes, truth through disclosure. Yeah, you got it. You got it, man. Whoa. Okay. No, it's up here. There we go. Let's see what's happening over here. Yeah, so Edward Taylor says, so Japan will bring truth to the world about the moon and aliens, and that will blow this COVID BS away. Yeah, you know, I've been really hoping this COVID BS would blow away a lot sooner than it has. And that's why I invented the Invisimask. No, they're not. I think that, you know, I don't think there's anyone who's a real big authority on aliens, you know, and if they're vulnerable to our viruses. Probably not. I think they probably would have figured all that out by now. I think that, well, they obviously didn't wipe us out because we're still here. So we didn't catch anything from them, I don't think. I just don't think that that's a plausible thing. You know, who knows? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Alrighty then. Well. Okay. This is for Radex, okay? Let me show this to you. Screen share. Okay, this is a little sketch. It's just a preliminary sketch of the bad guy that Radex might be playing. He said he was interested. So here's kind of what he's going to look like, okay? So he's got the skulls and he's got a suit, okay? So we're going to have to build you that suit, all right? That's that. It's an early sketch, so I don't want to show it very long. It's a very early sketch. It might end up being a page in the comic or one of the elements in one of the pages. Anyway, so that's Eric Thorne, the evil Eric Thorne, always a thorn in my side. We were cadets together in the Federation fleet, the training to go out into space. Space cadets. That's what we were, space cadets. And poor old Eric got left on Phobos, the Battle of Phobos, of course, one of Mars's moons. We thought he was dead. We left. He wasn't dead. He was revived by a race of AI robots, and they had to use robotics to bring him back to life. So he's part robot. That's it. And he's out for revenge. He wants to get me because I was in command of that vessel, and in his eyes, I left him there to die. We didn't know he was alive. So anyway, so that's the battle. It's personal to him, and he's gonna, you know, be a bad guy throughout time. Very, very nasty. So I don't know, Rad, if you feel like you could play a character like that. I think you definitely have the build for it, for sure. I think you could do it. We got to make the suit. So there it is. There it is, and there you have it. How do you like them apples? No, not like Buck Rogers. Just, let's see. Where's my book? Is it over here? Hold on a second. Nope, it's not there, folks. Sorry. I thought I had it nearby, but turns out it wasn't. Sorry about that. I'll put it closer next time. But a battle that spans all time, a battle that knows no boundaries, a battle that rages throughout all eternity. That's what it is. It's an epic tale of time travel, space, future, past, present, all the above, everything you can imagine. That's what's in it. Dinosaurs and spaceships. And everything in between. Yeah, I don't watch any normal TV. We need to all start making our own programs and stop watching the programs they make for us, you know. We all got to make our own stuff. We band together, make something cooler than what they could ever think of. You know? Yeah? More Austin? Buck Rogers villains had bodies that were normally proportioned. I guess it's kind of tough to find, you know, muscle men to be a villain. Go-Go Power Strangers just did it with foam. I thought that was funny. Foam characters are always fighting foam characters. How are you feeling, Ralph? I know that you must have had your stitches out by now. I hope that you're doing really, really well. I hope everybody's doing really, really well. Yeah. So that's that. I'm working, friends, on something else. It's a new kind of a game, and it's wooden. It's pretty cool. I'll show it to you as soon as I can. Yeah. Mud Rabbit likes the way we can interact with our shows. Yes. Speaking of interacting, I better check the queue and make sure someone's not there waiting. Empty queues so far. If anyone wants to call in, you're welcome to. You're certainly welcome to. All righty then. Let's see. You know, when people say, oh, the public's not ready for disclosure and whatnot, right? You've heard people say, oh, we want full disclosure, but, you know, people don't want full disclosure because, oh, it'll freak people out. No, it won't. We've had, what, 20 years or so of Ancient Aliens. It's been like the #1 show for like 20 years. Okay, I don't watch that, but I do understand that that's probably true. And just look at this. I showed this on a previous episode, but here is, I've scanned the cover of it. Okay, so now this is a magazine from 2011. I think it's 2011. All right. It's Open Minds. It was a great little magazine. Alien typology. I mean, all the stuff's, you know, Greys, reptilians, Nordics, same stuff we're talking about now. I mean, there's been talk about this stuff for so long. You know, it's really, really, really time for action as far as disclosure goes. I mean, you know, the former vice president was saying how he's losing his patience. Well, I think we're all kind of losing our patience about this alien thing. I mean, it's long overdue. And I just, you know, why can't they set like, okay, like a year, like, okay, we are going to keep UFO stories secret for 20 years. So anything that's older than 20 years ago, we're going to divulge and let you know about all that. But we're going to keep this. That's fine. Keep your 20 years. But let us know all that other stuff, okay? Actually, tell us all of it. Yeah, I don't know. What's the answer? We've been at it for a long time. I mean, here's a magazine from the 2011. There were magazines. Omni was out, okay, in the 90s, 80s and 90s, I believe. 80s, mid 80s. So the idea that we're not ready, it's just comical to me. It's bizarre. It's pretend world. They're pretending. Yeah, it's another thing they're pretending. They're pretending that the mainstream media is the only, and the government's the only way you can get information about aliens. Well, no. Shows like this, people can call in and talk about their experiences, and we're not going to ridicule them. Okay. All right. So no one's in the queue yet. Maybe we're not going to get someone calling in. That's okay. That's all right. Oh, Austin says, I've read every book I possibly could find on the subject. Yeah, me too. Crash retrievals. Where's that book? Where is that darn book? Oh, it's over here. This is a cool book. You might like, Austin. This book right here. Flying Saucers Have Landed by Leslie and Adamski, George Adamski. This is like from the 50s, people. Like I said, disclosure has already happened in books. So this guy, if you don't know him, George Adamski, this is from 1953, okay? See? If you don't believe me how, oops, where is it? Oh, I can't, it's backwards. Okay, 1953. All right, got that? All right, I love these old books. They have that old book smell, you know? It's nice to have something solid to look at and to read. And this is chocked full of pictures as well. And I'm trying to find the pictures here to show you. Yeah, George Adamski, he ran this, I believe it was a private airport. He kind of ran or rented it. And these aliens came and visited him. Okay. Telescope picture here's a telescope picture taken by George Adamski at 2:30 a.m. 6th of June 1950. Shows what appears to be a sideways view of a flying saucer passing between Earth and Moon. The outline of the object, which later moved rapidly away, suggests it may be of similar construction to the craft depicted in the front piece. So here is that picture. Look at that. He took that with his telescope. Interesting, huh? Well, he took more amazing pictures too. Here's some more amazing pictures he took with his telescope. He fitted it with a camera so he could take pictures of the things he was seeing on his telescope. Look at that. Looks like it could be the boomerang thing that they saw in Arizona. Boomerang shaped. Here he is with his little telescope there. He became quite famous. And just as with all of these UFO people, as soon as he started talking about they're giving him messages, that's when they attacked him. And they say he's crazy. And that's what they always do, folks. They attack the messenger because they know they can't attack the message. But by attacking the messenger, they in effect attacked the message. But we have to get away from judging the message by judging the messenger. That shouldn't be the way it is. I mean, otherwise nothing's ever going to be good enough. You know? There are some really spectacular pictures in here. I'm trying to find them. And I'll show them to you as soon as I get them. Here's some interesting ones. Now, you might have seen some of these. They're very famous pictures that he took. Oh, my background is kind of warping through. But look at that. These are incredible. Look at the detail on that one. Incredible. This is in the 1950s, folks. And that top one there, the clear one, 1952. 9:10 a.m., 13th of December, 1952. When he met some of these beings out in the desert, he took some friends with him, but they couldn't walk with him. But they watched the craft land. They took pictures of it, and then when they took pictures with this camera, when they got the pictures back or that got developed, this was on one of the pieces of film. It wasn't anything that anyone took a picture of. It's just something that appeared on photographic negative. Isn't that strange? what is it? You know, it's very strange. It looks like a bunch of scribbling, but we don't know. What is it? It's very anomalous. That's all you can say. But yeah, George Adamski, I mean, here's a guy, he put a lot of his money into investigating this stuff and building the equipment and fitting his telescope with a camera. And if he did this back in the 50s, just think what you can do with modern technology. And here was his friends took this picture, and the arrow there, look, right there, is pointing to where the ship was landed. And then it took off from there. That's one of the pictures that they took. It doesn't show much there, but. So that's George Adamski, famous guy from the 50s. Oh, also here's what the human aliens looked like. Looks like a typical depiction of a Nordic, right? This was in the 50s, folks. This is before anything else was printed like this, all right? This goes back a long, a long ways. And when George Adamski met with these people in the desert, this man, humanoid, after he left, he noticed there was imprints in the ground from the bottoms of the guy's shoes. And this is what was on the bottom of the guy's shoes, the alien. These different designs on the bottom of the shoe. I don't know what it means. Maybe it just makes you run faster and jump higher. I don't know. You know? Not sure. Doesn't look like Adidas or Pumas. Did you know Adidas and Pumas were started by two brothers? It was actually one company and they split it into two. Adidas and Puma. Two brothers. Isn't that interesting? So yeah, George Adamski. Oh my goodness, we have, let's see, we're gonna let this one in. All right, caller, mute your stream in the background. Hello, and what's your name?
Hello, this is Austin.
Hey, Austin, how you doing?
I'm fine. I was just commenting on the UFO stuff. You're talking about the UFOs now and the old books on the subject, and of course I've read quite a few. I've read quite a number, and so I was calling in. I mean, you're mentioning the Desmond Leslie and George Adamski book, but there was one before that might be more important, possibly.
Oh, really?
Now, this is one. The author's name is Frank Scully, and the book is called Behind the Flying Saucers. Okay, and it is the most thoroughly debunked UFO book of all time. None so thoroughly cow-tromped and stomped on by the skeptic community. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, I just heard a beep, beep.
Yeah. I think
this is the most thoroughly, totally, absolutely debunked book of all time, but that tends to make me think that Scully was actually onto something and was just being given the treatment by the powers that be, is the impression I've had. It was recently, the claims, Frank Scully was the original author of a crash retrieval book.
Okay.
And this book was published, originally it was in kind of serial form in Variety. That's the Hollywood trade newspaper called Variety. Frank Scully was a columnist, and he was a very respected man in those days. And also he was, He was famous for a number of reasons, but anyway, he was respected and had lots of contacts and friends. And from certain friends, he had learned of the crash and retrieval of, he said, 3 flying saucer vehicles, he said.
Okay.
This was published in Variety. It was published in serial form in Variety and then published as a hardback book. The publication in the newspaper in this abridged form began in 1949, and then the hardback was published in 1950.
Okay.
Which makes this chronologically, it's maybe the first. It depends on how you define a UFO book, but it may be the first of all UFO books, quite possibly.
Which one is that?
It's called Behind the Flying Saucers by Frank Scully.
All right. I was just making sure. Yeah, I got it.
And now there's a facsimile edition of this that's recently been reprinted. Well, I'll say recently, like 10 years ago, but that's recent to me because everything I read's old. So anyway, facsimile edition of it. Timothy Green Beckley, the publisher, who's kind of got a little cottage industry of publishing his own UFO materials,
okay,
has reprinted it, and it can be ordered from his Timothy Green Beckley. I don't remember the Inner Light Publications, I think, or something like that. It's based in New Jersey, where he lives, but it's called Behind the Flying Saucers, and it just tells the story of 3 crash and retrieval incidents, which Frank Scully said had occurred in the decade of the 1940s, presumably after World War II. He's very sketchy about details of 2 of these 3 incidents, but one of them he goes into great detail about. And this one has, well, the term would be, it has the sauce. It has some substance to it, because this was the so-called Aztec Crash.
Okay.
Aztec Crash allegedly occurred in April 1948. This object was seen by witnesses to kind of crash land. It didn't exactly come down on a hard impact. Sort of a soft landing on top of this mesa near Aztec, New Mexico, which is pretty far from Roswell. It's up in the northwest portion of New Mexico, near Farmington. It was this mesa near Aztec, to the east of Aztec, south of the border with Colorado. This object comes down on a mesa, and it's seen by some people, by some local workers, local people who were outside at the time. It was an early morning event, and it got. I'm not sure how it got conveyed to the authorities, but the Army sent this special unit out to recover and retrieve the object and take control over the area. And it was on this high mesa, and they had to cut a road up there to get their carrier vehicle, their flatbed and crane up to the top of the mesa to lift this object onto. But they had to get into the saucer. They had to dismantle it and then put the pieces on flatbed trucks with a crane, and then bring all this down off of this mesa. So they had to cut a road. They had to pour a concrete pad for equipment to rest on, and so forth. And and Frank Scully said that all of this occurred. Scully's sources of information: a friend of his, an avid golfer named Silas Newton, had told him this story. Silas Newton had learned it because Silas Newton was an oil wildcatter, a wildcat guy. The wildcatter is an oil prospector who speculates, like buying properties, buying mineral rights to properties, and then drilling and maybe finding oil. Silas Newton had worked with technology to detect oil fields using magnetic mapping of the Earth, magnetic contour line maps.
Mm-hmm.
define subsurface geology and locate oil-bearing rocks. Silas Newton was not a super great scientist himself, but he had friends who were magnetic scientists who had developed this technology. The technology was developed by a company in Texas that would later become Texas Instruments.
Oh, okay.
What would become Texas Instruments was founded by these magnetic scientists who were friends of Silas Newton. And these scientists had evidently been the specialists who were hired to study the technology of the crashed object, which is how Silas Newton came to learn this. And then he tells Scully, and Scully puts it into print.
Wow, that's fabulous. I went ahead and I found that behind the Flying Saucers updated edition. It's got looks like it's got a 1950s style painting on the front of people looking up, and
yeah, lots of women with big breasts looking up at the alien invaders.
Yeah,
typical.
You can tell a guy
50s-ish, pulp-ish kind of illustration.
A guy drew it. You can tell a guy drew it. Yeah.
Yeah, a guy drew it. A guy in the 50s drew it.
But it tells you a lot. I mean, look. Okay, it shows a strong man. You know, he's pointing up. You know, he's got his girl on his arm. You know, protecting her. Yeah, it's a very interesting piece. But you're saying that the actual content's pretty good. You're saying.
Well, here's what happened. Now, Scully prints this, and he swears up and down to the end of his life that, as far as he knows and as far as he cares, it's a true story.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely straight and true. Mm-hmm. So Frank Scully maintains to his dying breath.
Okay.
Now, he got the story from his friend Silas Newton. Well, shortly after the publication of this book, Silas Newton was brought to court by one of the people who had invested in his oil speculation company, and he was accused in court of fraud.
Mm-hmm.
And in this particular trial, Silas Newton was not allowed to enter any evidence in his own defense.
Oh boy!
And he was found guilty. And Silas Newton was a millionaire who regarded this trial as a nuisance. Okay.
Sure.
He just wanted to get it all over with. So he pled. He ended up paying a fine, a small fine, essentially the court costs, and he returned all the money that this investor had invested. And as far as Silas Newton was concerned, that was the end of the story. But a certain journalist who may have been some kind of shill for the people who want to cover up UFOs, wrote a hit piece against Scully and Silas Newton and anybody else connected with this story for True Magazine, where he exposed this as the great flying saucer fraud, saying that basically this Silas Newton had invented the whole UFO thing to sell stock in his company, and that the whole magnetic technology was a scam. Okay.
Wow.
Now, that's where it rested. Like I say, this was debunking, and this was major scale debunking, and this was early 50s before any pro-UFO person was really aware much that this kind of cover-up was being implemented. I mean, there were people involved here couldn't exactly defend themselves very well. And that was the end of that. Later UFO books will only mention this incident in passing as something that just got debunked. Scully was a fraud, period, blah, blah, blah. Right. You know, it's all proven. Sure. Proven by this man named Kahn, C-A-H-N, who wrote this hit piece in True Magazine. He proved it was a scam, period. Okay. Now, in recent years, a man named Scott Ramsey, started investigating this story again to look at loose ends, because there are some. you see this guy, Silas Newton, of course, he's passed away. Scully's passed away. Everybody involved in this thing is no longer with us. But there's this point that Scully himself never recanted. And Scully himself, one of the pictures we have of Frank Scully is him being knighted by the Pope. I mean, he was, when he was not a journalist, he would do fundraising for Catholic charities, and he was very, very highly regarded, well regarded by people who knew him in that context. And he was considered to be a very, very, very moral, good man, family man, beloved by his family. Mm-hmm. So many people had so many good things to say about him that this guy, Scott Ramsey, couldn't believe that Scully was really fooling us, that this book was the piece of sleaze that it was alleged to be. Mm-hmm. And so Scott Ramsey wrote a book about the Aztec flying saucer crash, in which he has succeeded, in my eyes, as far as I'm concerned, in rehabilitating Frank Scully, proving that Scully was on the level. Scully's source, Silas Newton, was never sued by anybody else for fraud. Mm-hmm. And in that trial, the judge wouldn't let Silas Newton defend himself. So as far as Scott Ramsey was concerned, this was all just a hit job designed to take Scully and Newton out of the UFO field, which it had succeeded pretty much in doing. The book called Behind the Flying Saucers was very, very thoroughly, professionally, and absolutely debunked and done away with. And so it doesn't enter into our ufological history very much. But it's the first time anybody had ever mentioned crash retrievals.
Wow.
Well, if there'd never been any other crash retrieval stories, we could brush it aside and forget about it.
Sure.
But there have been these other stories.
Of course. Well,
lots of them.
The hit job was just done to bury the story, right? They've been doing the same thing even till today. So I'd say that's
just it.
More evidence that it's true.
Yeah. You see, if you were in like 1951, and 52, when this Khan story was published in True magazine, then you'd pretty much fall for it and see it from Khan's point of view.
Sure.
See the facts as his facts. But now we can correlate this with the other crash retrievals. We can see the pattern of other cover-ups which have occurred, other deceptions.
Right.
And we can see this pattern.
Yes.
And the pattern emerging is that Frank Scully was the pioneer investigator of the crash retrievals and the first one to be taken down by debunking.
Yep.
So he's like the pioneer with the Indian's arrows sticking in his back.
Yeah.
That's how you know he's a pioneer.
Yeah. Wow. That's great.
So that's the case with the Aztec UFO incident.
Wow.
That Aztec thing was in and of itself just the details that have come out on that from Scully's account. And this guy Ramsey, Scott Ramsey, I'm trying to remember the name of his book. I've got it, but it's gone through 2 editions now. Scott and his wife Susan. He met this woman named Susan, and when he was in the Aztec Farmington area investigating all this, and he later married her, and she's like his co-author, and they've written these books, and essentially bringing back the Frank Scully story and rehabilitating Scully. And one thing they did in one chapter of this book was research the question that nobody asked at the time, which should have been asked, and that was, who were the magnetic scientists?
Yeah.
Because the man that this Silas Newton, the oil man, who was Scully's source of information, he wasn't there at the crash scene. He had gotten this story from his friends who were helping him with magnetic technology for finding oil fields. Mm-hmm. And his friends were magnetic scientists who had a record of accomplishment in fields totally unrelated to oil field searching or UFOs, but things which made them distinguished persons worthy paying attention to. And Scott Ramsey investigates who these collaborators of Silas Newton may have been, because what you can do here, we know what Silas Newton was doing. We know in his oil business and the kind of equipment he was using. It was originating from what would a company, it had a different name at the time, but it would later be called Texas Instruments.
There you are.
This
Okay.
instrumentality and this technology, there are names we can connect with that.
We lost
And then this will give us names of people who may have been, probably were the people directly involved in the first crashed UFO studies ever made for the secret government. And Scott Ramsey names names of prominent American scientists who he says were friends of Silas Newton, who were collaborators with him on oil field problems, who Scott Ramsey thinks are also the people who had been called to look at this UFO debris under conditions of absolute secrecy.
Wow.
That altogether fits into an interesting pattern, especially when you correlate this story with Roswell and some of the other reports.
Yeah, and even Adamski was attacked as well. All these people, Billy Meyer, right? They all were attacked.
Yeah, there's this pattern of debunking where somebody makes it personal and makes it vicious. I mean, so you see a light in the sky. How does that make you such a bad person that somebody needs to go after your family or after your, threaten you in various ways?
Right.
And that's happened. I mean, some of the debunkers have used smear tactics that were just right out of Joe McCarthy's era.
Well, I was threatened.
I mean, it's.
Did you hear my story about being threatened to be thrown in jail for my cable access show?
Yeah, was that a cop you said who was doing that?
Yeah, the chief of police. Former chief of police. He passed away. But
that's interesting too. Because was he doing that because he was just a jerk, or was he doing that because somebody got to him and said he had to do that?
Well,
that would be the unanswerable question.
It's a big tourist area up here, so maybe they thought this story would drive tourists away. I think it would bring more tourists up. Come on. Because there was a big UFO scene up here in the 50s. It was, in fact, someone in Fish Creek called the Door County Advocate in Sturgeon Bay and said, "Hey, there's a UFO." He goes, "Yeah, where is it?" "It's right up here." And so the guy in Sturgeon Bay comes out. They're like 30 miles apart from each other. They both saw it at the same time. They both saw it as they were on the phone in the 50s. So yeah, it's the phone must have been near the window because there weren't long cords back then, but they both saw it. So it was pretty big. And yeah, they didn't want people talking about that. But yeah, he was going to throw away the key, lock me up, throw away the key. No one will ever know where you are. And that was frightening. So if the local chief of police is telling me that, I can just only imagine what a federal agent would be, putting the fear into somebody like that as well. But yeah, the cover up goes to the local level too. These people are,
and of course Frank Scully himself, he had a bit of a problem with authority when it came to things like threats. His book is full of jibes about the people he calls the Pentagonians, who he thought were behind the cover-up.
Now, here's some interesting thing. Now, the X-Files, they're one of the characters was Scully, right? I wonder if they did that on purpose.
Yeah, that Chris Carter, the creator of the X-Files, said that he was thinking about Frank Scully when he picked that name for Agent Scully.
Interesting.
Of course, she's the skeptic, not the believer.
Right. Right.
So it's kind of a joke, kind of bit of facetious humor, but that's X-Files. And one of the best UFO books written published this year was by Jacques Vallée and that lady is from Italy, and she's his collaborator, and I can't find the book. It's
Paula Harris?
Everything here is a mess.
Is it Paula Harris?
Paula Harris, yeah. Paula Harris and Jacques Vallée have published a book in the summer of this year, 2021, which is a UFO crash retrieval book.
Oh, wow.
So it's probably the best UFO book of this particular year, and it's a crash retrieval thing.
I'll have to get
about a case that Frank Scully never heard of.
Yeah.
Oh, here it is. Here it is. It's called Trinity: The Best Kept Secret. Jacques F. Vallée and Paula Lapse Harris. And this one, it's a case that, like I say, these things individually, if you want to play skeptic, you can shoot them down individually.
Mm-hmm.
But here you've got yet another book with yet another crash retrieval case, and this one is one that nobody ever heard of until 2003, when the witnesses finally came forward about it. This was an incident that occurred in the summer of 1945.
Wow.
So it fits into the same context as Frank Scully's cases, even though he doesn't give specifics that, like time and place specifics that correlate with it. The general trend is the same. There were these two young boys. They were on a ranch in New Mexico where they worked. And you have to know some history to give it some context to understand what happened. These boys were Hispanic Americans. They were born in New Mexico, but they spoke the Spanish language. And so we white people look at them and say Mexicans, but they're not Mexicans. They're USA citizens. They're our people. They're from New Mexico. They live on a ranch. The ranch is located northwest, and directly adjacent to what we now call the White Sands Proving Ground. Now that facility had a different name then. It was some kind of test range, but it had a different name. It wasn't called White Sands Proving Ground in those days. That came a little later. But this was place where they lived was also this place where they worked. They were working as ranch hands, but they were very young boys. Now the year is 1945. It's the summer of 1945. The reason why they're working as if they were adult cowboys is because the adult males are either in the Army or they're working on defense industries, but they're not there at the ranch to take care of things.
Right. So
the two boys, they're riding fences and they're watching the cattle. So they're out. They're outdoors all day long at this ranch. And they see an object crash. They witness the whole crash retrieval drama on this ranch where it happens. And they're frightened enough by the government to not say a word about it until 2003.
Wow. And
they're eventually are interviewed by Paula Lapse Harris, and by Jacques Vallée later on, but she was, I think, the journalist who broke the story originally.
She's great.
And then this book is out summarizing it.
I've interviewed her before, and now I'm going to have to get her back again. I'll get that book, I'll read it, and then I'll have her on to talk about the book.
Yeah, it's called Trinity: The Best Kept Secret.
Yeah, I got it written down.
And they had to do, I don't know the details, but they had to do some kind of last minute revision for some reason, something about it, because it was supposed to have been published 2019, and instead it was published in 2021.
Okay.
But this ranch was located roughly 25 miles from the ground zero of the very first atomic bomb blast.
Right, Trinity site.
The atomic bomb blast was on July, I think it's July 16th of 1945. The two boys discovered a crashed UFO August 16th, 1945, 1 month later. And this is on this ranch that's just right, almost within sight of where the atomic bomb had been detonated.
Wow.
And what nobody commented on or really said much about, there were thousands of people living in the surrounding area around this test site for this atomic bomb who were in the fallout zone of the A-bomb test.
Wow.
And there was never much done to investigate any health problems resulting from that or anything about it. Instead, these people were all very much intimidated by the government secrecy surrounding the bomb blast. But of course, if you're looking at the UFO event, you could infer that there's a connection there, that the UFO crash would be occurring so close to where the A-bomb had been detonated 1 month before.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we can't know unless Skinny Bob tells us about it, but you could infer a connection there.
Yes.
But
wow.
Connections go a little deeper than that. There's one other connection that's really important that the authors do note and make a big deal about. The other connection between this and ufology, the spot where this UFO crashed in August 1945, the spot where this crash occurred was about 8 miles away from where 19 years later, the New Mexico policeman, Lonnie Zamora, saw a landed egg-shaped object. And that's one of the classic UFO encounters of all time, was 8 miles away from where this object had crashed.
Wow.
And of course, nobody in 1964 had heard anything about the Trinity crash because the two boys who witnessed it hadn't said anything to anyone. They didn't say anything about it till 2003. But the Lonnie Zamora UFO encounter was near Socorro, which was roughly 8 miles from where these boys lived. And so all this activity in this same area, and the object that the boys saw crash in the summer of 45 was an egg-shaped UFO,
Okay.
an egg-shaped craft.
Wow.
And the object that Lonnie Zamora had witnessed 1964, in April 64, an egg-shaped craft.
Wow.
Of course, you could perhaps see that as some kind of pattern also.
Yeah, and
Jacques Vallée does remark in this book that this gets classed as flying saucers, but neither of these objects were saucer shaped.
right. Now Corey Good talks about seeing these egg-shaped craft in the inner Earth that belong to the inner Earth people. So there's a whole other rabbit hole. Maybe that's the same.
Yeah, that's something else. Because one thing about the book, the Trinity book, is Jacques Vallée. He expresses a wee bit of, I guess not exactly contempt, but just he doesn't like the so-called whistleblowers. He's on the one hand, he's certain that this incident occurred and this was real, but on the other, he does play the role of skeptic in many ways.
Well,
it makes his point of view fascinating.
Can you see the chat at all? because
I'll minimize your image here.
okay,
I can probably.
Dark Brain wrote, my great grandfather deconstructed the Trinity site tower that the first atomic test was done at. He died of a rare leukemia. Very sad.
That's something that Jacques Vallée does comment on, that there's a pattern here of complete disregard by the government for the health and well-being of the people involved in this early atomic testing.
Yeah, he also
and also that you've got, you say there are no, if you're trying to defend the UFO skeptics, you're saying the government doesn't do cover-ups, but the government did one, obviously,
they do
in the context of this health issue involving radioactive fallout.
Mm-hmm.
There was just a complete and absolutely outrageously cruel, evil suppression of facts, suppression of the truth involving radioactive fallout.
Wow.
And this you can see UFO cover-up. It looks pretty minor compared to that, but it's cover-up also.
Yeah.
And also you've got an overlapping. The UFO incidents tend to be occurring at or near nuclear test sites.
Yeah.
Many of the early UFOs.
Yeah.
And of course, your early first generation contactees like George Adamski and others. One thing that the Space Brothers have to say to them over and over again is that there should not be any atomic testing, that's very, very bad. That they're here because of their concerns about the nuclear explosions.
Yeah, because the nuclear explosions affect other worlds as well, not just our world, but affects other worlds too. That's what I heard that these beings were saying.
Well, I heard a story that was even a little weirder than that, but might correlate well with it. Nikola Tesla, his early experiments where he was trying to develop he built it, but since it never officially worked according to mainstream science, you have to say he allegedly did this. Mm-hmm. But he was broadcasting. He was trying to do broadcast power, and he had something called the magnifying transmitter that he set up at his Colorado lab. Now, Tesla's ideas about how electromagnetic propagation work are a bit different from what your physics textbook is going to say to you today. Mm-hmm. And this makes it very difficult to try to explain this. If you look in a physics text as to what a radio wave is, it's going to show you transverse waveforms propagating at the speed of light. Transverse means there's a back and forth oscillation that's at right angles to the direction at which the wave is propagating. Okay. That's called a transverse waveform. Tesla said, and this is getting on thin ice and shaky ground when I repeat this, but Tesla said that electromagnetic waveforms are just like sound waves. There's the transverse waveform, which is what we hear about when we hear about radio waves. And then there is the longitudinal form, which is the leading form that Tesla wanted to use in his technology. Well, according to mainstream physics, that does not exist. But Tesla not only thought it existed, he thought he was using it. He thought he could build apparatus that transmitted it. Now, a story has been told, and it's one of these whistleblower things, and you're free to disregard it if you want to, but a story is told that when Tesla first experimented with his magnifying transmitter at Colorado Springs, Colorado, the broadcast he made this longitudinal waveform signal. And Tesla himself said this, and this is one of those things that gets glossed over when people quote from Tesla because it doesn't fit with modern physics. Tesla said the longitudinal waveform propagates at a speed greater than the speed of light.
Oh.
So when he broadcast this thing from Colorado Springs, Colorado, he wasn't just transmitting power for a power plant. That's what he was wanting to do, what he thought he was doing. But what he was doing was making our planet extremely conspicuous to some people out there.
Okay.
I mean, he was lighting up planet Earth saying, here we are. Come get us.
Well, that's what the nukes did too, though, right? That got their attention.
Well, that's just it. Nobody said that I'm aware of, but the nukes going off, there's an electromagnetic pulse every time an A-bomb or H-bomb gets detonated. There's a pulse. Electromagnetic waveform gets broadcast outward every kaboom.
Mm-hmm.
Is that going to be that longitudinal waveform that Tesla believed in? I can't ask any scientist because officially that doesn't even exist. But Tesla said it existed. And bear in mind, that man was a great inventor. Until he got to this stuff, everything he had ever done up to that time had succeeded spectacularly and well.
Mm-hmm.
Only now is there something that he's done where the controversy is that skeptics say he didn't do anything at all.
Really?
I watched this one. We've talked on chat about the uselessness of television, and this is a prime example. There was some sort of Tesla-oriented documentary show. I think it was either Discovery or Travel Channel, or I don't think it was the History Channel, but one of those, where they were trying to reconstruct Tesla's death ray. Because, of course, Tesla, with his longitudinal waveform, he believed that the things he could do with it included things that you would associate with something like a laser death ray in a science fiction story. He thought he could do something like that, and said he said he could. But anyway, Tesla's death ray. So they've got so-called experts, and the documentary is that they're trying to reconstruct Tesla's lost technology of the death ray.
Mm-hmm.
And all of this TV, that what they ended up building eventually was just a big-ass version of a Van de Graaff accelerator, which produced artificial lightning bolts, which enabled them to shoot down a drone. And the drone was about maybe 36 or 37 inches away from the Van de Graaff device, which was huge. And that's what they accomplished for the death ray. And I could see what was wrong because of the stuff I've read about Tesla, which they couldn't see, or if they could see it, they weren't going to comment on it with a TV camera on them.
Mm-hmm.
This apparatus was all perfectly kosher according to our normal mainstream textbook, cookbook, high school physics class physics. This was all standard, respectable science, uncontroversial science that they were doing for this TV show. Nobody said one word about the longitudinal waveform or the magnifying transmitter.
Mm-hmm.
And if we believe there was a lost Tesla technology, that's what we have to be looking for. If they were really serious about this documentary TV show, that's what they would have to have been looking for in the Tesla library in Belgrade, Belgrade, Serbia.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody said a word about it, so what do I know? You know, that's the way it is with these documentaries. They've all been sanitized or gotten to in some way, these TV documentaries. That's the problem with them.
I'm going to play a little, there's no sound to this. It's a time-lapse map of every nuclear explosion since 1945. Okay, there's one.
Well, is it just the above ground or the undergrounds?
It says a time-lapse map of every nuclear explosion since 1945. So I don't know.
Yeah. been a lot of underground things. And of course,
Yeah.
like I say, the longitudinal waveform officially doesn't exist. So I couldn't tell you what effect these have, if any.
But we worry
But of
about,
course, you could, if you're reading your Adamski, the Space Brothers might have a word or two to say about it. Okay, well, there's
Worry-
Mexico and Japan.
we worry that we're going to get nuked by someone. We've already nuked ourselves thousands of times. We've nuked ourselves more than any enemy could possibly do. I mean, it's just amazing. You watch this thing and they're just popping off. Everyone's just blowing up their own countries. It's just crazy. It's stupidity, really.
Well, yeah, the contactees, they're what they say the Space Brothers believe. The Space Brothers this is the kind of information the Space Brothers would want conveyed, because they were saying that it was somehow damaging the fabric of the cosmos. And of course, anybody, your skeptical community would poo-poo that. They would say that was nonsense.
Yeah.
But remember what I said about the longitudinal waveform, how Tesla's use of it kind of got aliens a little ticked off at us.
Mm-hmm.
There's something there that's we haven't been told, or it hasn't been made very clear, and I can't make a good case for it for that reason. But like I say, that this goes back further than the 1940s. The story. Let's see. I read about the thing in Tesla. There was a website. Somebody was. I don't remember the name now. But there was something that was supposed to be a revelation from one of the aliens who had been captured alive at Aztec, because this Aztec saucer was way bigger than the Roswell vehicle, and one of them supposedly was taken alive. And it might have been Skinny Bob, for all I know. I don't know.
Are you talking about
What makes me...
Errol from the Roswell crash? According to the
well, I don't remember, but it was supposed to be. It had a discussion of Tesla and how the aliens got interested in Earth because of this longitudinal wave coming from Colorado that Tesla was sending out, not knowing that he was signaling alien life when he did so, and that they were saying that this actually was very dangerous, a dangerous thing to be doing. They said, which I don't understand enough about the technology to know what to say I believe about it. But there was another point about Tesla's longitudinal wave before I drop the subject entirely. One more anecdotal story that's worthy of mentioning here has nothing to do with aliens that I'm aware of, but maybe it does. There was a book about Tesla, the very first book published that was a biography of Tesla. It was called Prodigal Genius by a man named John O'Neill. It was published very soon after Nikola Tesla died. And John O'Neill has supposedly known Tesla and been a good friend of him. But although things like that have been disputed about these authors who claim to have known him, but John O'Neill said so, and the book is full of anecdotes about Tesla, many of which have been disputed, and this may be one of them, but there's one chapter of this book where Tesla was describing his magnifying transmitter that he built in Colorado Springs to test the power transmission idea. Tesla was saying that he had a means of attenuating this signal, focusing it, and he used that to send the waveform, the power, what he called the power wave, out to the moon.
Wow.
And Tesla said that he did this on a night when the new moon, when the side of the moon facing the Earth is in shadow, so that he could watch as it lit up a portion of the lunar surface. His power wave. It was acting. Now, I had a friend who heard me tell this story and say, "Well, Tesla invented the laser. It's a laser." But it's not. I don't think the technology is really the same thing as laser technology. It's something different. But I might be mistaken.
Interesting.
But the point being that this would be done again a long time later, like 69 years later, the Apollo astronauts, on the very first moon landing, they set out a prism device, a little reflector prism apparatus that could take a laser ray from Earth and send it back. The prisms would keep the light from scattering so that it would come back as a clear signal, so you could laser range the moon. And this apparatus is still there. Nothing has changed or altered it since that time. So today, physics students will bounce laser beams off the moon and detect them. It's called laser ranging.
Wow.
And every Apollo landing left behind these prisms, this set of prism devices that could reflect back laser rays, so that the landing site lights up when you shine a laser at it, a ruby laser at it.
Wow. That's cool.
That's called laser ranging. And of course, Tesla allegedly was doing that circa 1900, according to John O'Neill. Now, nobody's ever commented on that, but that's an example of the kind of thing we lost when Tesla went bankrupt in 1908 and was forced to stop all his experiments.
Yeah, I'm still upset that I never learned about him in school. I mean, I don't know if they're just trying to talk about Americans, but he was an American.
It's even worse than that. It's really what the truth is downright ludicrous. It's insane, crazy. If you until very recently, maybe they've changed this now, but until recently, if you went to the Smithsonian Institution and you saw their exhibits on the electrical power grid with transmitter with the power generator and power transformers, explanation of the power grid and its invention, until very recently, the plaque on the wall would tell you the inventor was Thomas Alva Edison.
Really?
The apparatus there, the plaque on the wall would tell you that. But the machines themselves, if you looked at the machines and ignored the Smithsonian's explanation for them and just looked at the machines themselves, the names on the plates on the machines for the company that built them, it would be Westinghouse and Tesla.
Oh, wow.
Nikola Tesla and George Westinghouse. And the patents, where the plate on the machine that gives the patent information attributes ownership of the patent and the idea to George Westinghouse and Nikola Tesla. Westinghouse was the financier who put the company together, and Tesla was the inventor. And that's on the plates that are on the machines. But the plaque they put on the wall said it was Edison's invention.
Wow. Yeah,
and that was the cover-up surrounding Tesla.
That happens. I mean, I was working at a place, a toy and game invention place, where I invented this game. And I was the only inventor. I was under salary. When we sold it to Parker Brothers, and when they wrote the patent, I was on there, and they put, my boss put himself on there too. So just because the patent has someone named doesn't mean they really had anything to do with the patent, because I can tell you one thing, it was all me. It wasn't him at all. He paid the bills, but he wasn't the inventor. But so, yeah, I was always kind of mystified by that.
Well, I hope you did get paid.
Well, I got paid my
I
salary.
hope that.
Never got royalties from the concepts that were sold there. I wasn't cut in for it, but I got paid only while I was there. So
Uh-huh.
he's still got everything.
Because when,
He can sell it and make money on it.
yeah, Tesla had a deal with Westinghouse where he was supposed to get this percentage of all the profits of the future technology, but he gave that up when Westinghouse got in financial problems, just as a noble gesture. And of course, that cost him dearly later in his life when he badly needed money. He didn't have it. But of course, everybody's made mistakes like that in their lives. But Nikola Tesla seemed to see he was not a savvy businessman. He was a great inventor, but not a savvy businessman, and it's really a tragedy.
He decided to go home and heal himself because he did not like the way that they were going to fix it. So he gave himself electricity to help heal, and he healed himself all by himself. Yeah, he was a very interesting guy. Amazing. Well, Austin, I want to thank you for calling in. You know, I think maybe we should put a cork in it. It's past midnight here.
Okay.
And
yeah, I'll hang up in case I'm afraid somebody else might be in the queue, and I was keeping them away from commenting. But
nobody was in the queue. There was one person, but they dropped out for a little while. But I want to thank you so much for calling in. It really made the show. You had some great stuff to say, and you know, I was hoping maybe to hear from Max too, but he called here earlier. I missed the call, so maybe.
Okay, alrighty.
But I want to say,
well, thank you, Aaron. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, take care. I want to say hi to everyone in the chat here. Hi, Jerry. Hi, Becky. Hi, everybody who I didn't say hi to. Yeah, thanks, Austin. Yeah, you're definitely a cool dude. Oops. Definitely a cool dude. All righty then. That was fabulous. Thank you, Abby. Thank you, Mud Rabbit. Well, friends, I think we're going to put a cork in it now. We're all done. I'm so glad that Austin called in. He really had a lot of interesting things to say. And Dark Brain also had some correlating information about the Trinity site. So thank you, Dark Brain, for that. Thank you, everyone, for calling in, for stopping in and chatting and watching and sharing and liking. Thank you very, very much. I really appreciate it. And if you want to know how you can help the program, just like and share. That's what you can do. And everything helps. And thank you so much to the super chatters tonight, to Catherine Weiss and Rat X, and also Rat X for a Mud Rabbit. Now, I think it was for Mud Rabbit, right? That shirt, Mud Rabbit. So email me and let me know your size and what you want, okay? And we'll get it out to you. Thank you very much. Thanks for tuning in. Keep looking up, keep looking into the skies. Keep your cameras and your phones ready to record whatever you see. Disclosure is going to happen through us, no other way. We're going to do it. It's up to us. We are the people. We've been. Oh, you emailed me. Oh, thank you, Mud Rabbit. I'll look at that as soon as I'm off the air. Yeah, I had a great time tonight. Thank you so much for sharing this time with me, folks. Keep looking up. Be ready to film that craft that you see, because you might be the next person on the Truth Quest talking about it. We want everyone to call in and tell us your stories. So thank you very much. Thank you. Hi, Cassandra. How you doing? Thank you very much for stopping in. appreciate all of you. Thanks to the mods, the best mods in the business. And peace in. Thank you very much.